Chapter 3. Fake girlfriend? Sky repeated uncertainly. What's a fake girlfriend? A pretend relationship. No sex involved, nor, indeed, anything else you might reasonably object to, Enzo clarified smoothly. I have several women coming on to me at work, and there's a staff party next week. I would like a platonic girlfriend on my arm to ensure that nobody thinks I'm available. I'm afraid my reputation as a womanizer goes before me, but I have no intention of getting involved with anyone while I'm here. Sky wasn't surprised that women were making advances to him. He was exceedingly well-built and extraordinarily gorgeous. Any single woman would look twice and hang out a welcome sign, but she was shocked that he could so lightly refer to having a reputation as a womanizer. A womanizer? She queried with a wrinkled nose of distaste. Believe it or not, that attracts some women. Right now, however, I'm living the celibate life, Enzo quipped with a wry curve of his lips. And I intend to continue to do so while I'm here. Good to know, Sky countered, feeling her cheeks burn. So, you want a fake girlfriend to keep you safe from temptation? S. No affairs, no one-nighters, and no entanglements of any kind, he spelt out. But nobody would credit me in a role like that. I'm not stylish enough for someone like you, she said ruefully. Your bruises will have faded by the end of next week, and clever makeup will take care of any marks that linger. I will naturally cover the expense of an outfit for the occasion, as I doubt you have anything suitable. I'll think about it. I suppose I could do it as a favor in return for all that you've done for me, Sky conceded quietly. I'm not a fan of favors. I'll pay you for doing it. No. The party will be my thank you for you helping us last night and for coming to the police station with me this evening, Sky countered with quiet dignity. I'm not a hired escort. I'll do it for free, so please don't offer me money again. Enzo's dark-as-night eyes positively shimmered. Is that a warning? Yes, Sky confirmed, rising to start clearing the table. Will you be wanting anything else tonight? I was thinking of having an early night. Go to bed. I'll see you in the morning. Sky paused at the door and then turned back, unable to resist saying, Isn't it crazy that we've only known each other for 24 hours? Enzo thought about that, and he was equally taken aback by the reminder. It was rare for him to feel so comfortable with a woman, and yet, in reality, he barely knew Sky. Perhaps that was because he knew nothing could happen between them, he reasoned thoughtfully. Perhaps he relaxed more with her as a result of that awareness. And possibly she was comfortable with him for the exact same reason. In any case, it would take her a while to get over the abusive creep she had been living with. In addition, posing as his fake girlfriend might give her an extra layer of protection against her ex, he reflected wryly. His grandmother called him to catch up, and he told her at length about finding Sky and her siblings and the dog by the side of the road. You're not getting involved with this young woman? She questioned worriedly. I'm proud that you helped her, but I wouldn't want you hurting her by taking too much of an interest in her. No, there's nothing of that nature between us. She's totally safe with me. The kids are quite cute, though, he remarked, something of his surprise at that discovery clear in his voice. A womanizer? Sky lay in bed and played with her phone, slotting his name into a search engine and then reading results. It took a couple of attempts to spell his name correctly, and then a cascade of results tumbled onto the screen. She saw a photo of him half-naked in shorts on a yacht, with a gaggle of blonde, tanned beauties surrounding him. Suddenly feeling like a disrespectful snoop, she closed the site and put her phone down. Enzo's personal life was none of her business, and he was entitled to his privacy. Sky rose early and had the children fed and dressed before Enzo even got downstairs. There was no reason to subject him to the early morning chaos of life with young children, she reasoned. I plan to serve your breakfast in the dining room, she remarked when he strode into the kitchen. As usual, at first glimpse, Enzo knocked the breath right out of her lungs. Sheathed in a light gray, exquisitely tailored suit that lovingly outlined his broad shoulders, lean hips, and long, powerful legs, he looked amazing. Everything he wore fitted him to perfection. She wondered how many suits he owned because she had yet to see him in the same one twice. I'm happy enough to eat in here. Dio mio, he exclaimed in apparent astonishment as Shona crawled across the floor towards him. She moves on her own. Helplessly amused by his fascination, Sky watched her sister claw her way upright by dint of clutching Enzo's legs. I'll put her out in the hall, she said abruptly. No need. She's not doing any harm, Enzo declared as Brody, hungry for his attention, brought him a toy car to examine. What age are they? Brody is almost 3 and Shona's 13 months. Sky ferried coffee to him and plucked Shona from his knees to give him some peace. She remained convinced that he should be sitting in the dining room where she had laid the table for him. She would never forget his conviction that the microwave would make his toast for him. She suspected that Enzo was woefully unacquainted with kitchens, and with eating his meals against such a humble backdrop. Furthermore, he was only making do with her as a housekeeper because she had already been on his doorstep and an easily available option. Enzo ate only part of the supermarket croissant, his aristocratic nose wrinkling a tad, and she resolved to try the bakery in town for a substitute. Instinct warned her that Enzo was accustomed to only the very best. He didn't like the house and was certainly not impressed by it. Yet it was large and warm and had been sensitively renovated with modern utilities while retaining all the features that gave it character. There were probably many things in life that Enzo Durante took entirely for granted, she decided ruefully. "You are looking very serious," Enzo commented. "I was just thinking that you don't really appreciate this house," she heard herself admit. "And yet, it's very comfortable and in excellent order." "You sound like my conscience speaking," Enzo retaliated with a groan as he sliced an apple into slim segments. "I agree that it's functional, but I prefer a contemporary style. My grandparents live in an old ancestral house, and that is probably why he chose this place for me." "You're spoiled," Sky responded before she could bite back the words. A slanting grin slashed Enzo's lean, hard-boned face, unhidden amusement glittering in his very dark eyes. "Probably," he agreed equably. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that." Sky's cheeks were wreathed in pink and embarrassment engulfed her. Who was she to criticize him? His laid-back manner had momentarily betrayed her into forgetting that he was her employer. "I don't take offense easily," Enzo riposted, enjoying the way the blush made her eyes look lighter in hue, and enthralled by the habit she had of looking down, her feathery lashes drooping when she was embarrassed while her teeth plucked at the edge of her full lower lip. "I have many choices others don't enjoy, and I should be more aware of that. I also like an honest woman, who isn't out to impress me and watching her every word." "But I should be watching every word," Sky replied. "I should be behaving professionally. But your profession isn't housekeeping, and we're alone in this house. So obviously we can't ignore each other," Enzo pronounced with an air of finality as he vaulted upright. "I'll text you with the time of your appointment with the solicitor. I can take care of that for myself." "It's halfway to being organized already," Enzo told her as he turned away. "Thanks then," Sky said awkwardly, grabbing Brody as he tried to follow Enzo out into the hall. The interview with the solicitor later that morning was a sobering experience, because it brought up everything she had crammed down to the very bottom of her memory. She didn't want to remember what Richie had done to her, because the recollection of how she had lain on the floor, pretending to be unconscious to avoid further injury, still made her cringe. It wasn't an image she wanted to have of herself, and she knew that she would never again put herself in such a position with the children. Her thoughts, however, were slowly becoming less negative and self-critical. It wasn't her fault that Richie had turned out to be violent and nasty. There had been no warning of his explosion of rage and subsequent attack. But possibly, if she hadn't feared moving the children and disrupting their lives all over again, she would have told him sooner that the relationship wasn't working for her. That evening, Enzo found himself dining in the solitary splendor of the dining room, and he felt ridiculously lonely. Sky had informed him that she had already eaten and she was bathing the kids upstairs. From somewhere above, he could hear the sound of Brody's giggles. Boundaries, he thought. Sky was carefully marking boundaries, reminding him that she worked for him, and making it clear that she would stick to the rules, even though he hadn't laid down any rules. In defiance, he climbed the stairs and followed the noise. Brody was capering around the main bathroom, half-dressed in dinosaur pajama bottoms, while Sky endeavored to insert a squirming Shona into what he believed was known as a onesie. Flushed and very damp, her tee clinging to her slight curves, Sky looked harassed, and as Brody charged at him in welcome, Enzo picked up the discarded pajama top and corralled Brody to put it on him. The little boy startled him by winding his arms around his neck and forcing Enzo to lift him. "Thanks." "Sorry we were so noisy," Sky muttered. They both sort of wind up at bedtime. "They're in the room next door to you?" Enzo checked. "I'll put him in there." "How did the meeting go with the solicitor?" "He was very efficient and the police phoned me. Richie has been suspended from duty pending investigation." Enzo lowered Brody to the bed and watched him snatch up a scruffy rabbit-soft toy, pressing it to his chest and turning over, all liveliness draining away as evidently the day's activities caught up with him. Shaking loose the duvet to cover him, Enzo straightened as Sky settled her sister into the cot. "The solicitor thinks there's sufficient evidence for Richie to be arrested and charged," she told him quietly, something of her mental turmoil showing in her troubled gaze. "I can't get past the fact that I thought he loved me, and yet he did that to me." Enzo lounged in the doorway, his big frame lithe and sleek and relaxed as she switched out the light. "I thought a woman loved me once, but it went badly wrong. Although she didn't assault me," he remarked with graveyard humor, brooding dark eyes glinting beneath lush black lashes. Now I steer clear of the love thing." His blunt candor disconcerted her, and as he stepped back to allow her to partially close the door of the children's room, she winced and sighed. "As will I in the future."